enjoy you. What a great pleasure to meet once again. What a great pleasure to meet each other. What a great pleasure to meet old schoolmates. What a great pleasure to meet old classmates. After many years, women.
After many years.
Whoa.
After many years.
Yeah.
After many years.
My brother.
Auntie, after many years.
My sister.
After many years.
My father.
After many years.
Oh,
After many years.
enjoy yourself.
Enjoy yourself,
My brother.
enjoy yourself,
My sister.
enjoy yourself,
My father.
enjoy
My
yourself,
sister.
enjoy yourself,
I hope you had an amazing week. For me, my week was challenging. We had lots of things to handle. In the region, in Bamenda, of course, it was never easy. In times of crisis, sometimes to have a week go through, it's not easy. Well, you're welcome to joining us. Your Saturday is about to get better. This is the BD show starting now. We're coming to you from Bamenda. Of course, wherever you're watching us, surely you have some people around you. I don't know how you relate with them. You may relate with them biologically, you may relate with them emotionally, or you relate to them legally. In general words or in general thinking, this is what is called family. And by biological, I mean these are people that you relate with them by birth. By emotional, there are people you can relate with them by virtue of marriage or other forms of relationships. And legal, I'm talking about those people you relate to them, maybe it could be by adoption. And so, if you relate to someone possibly emotionally or otherwise, legally or, biologically, you can call such people family. These are the people we return to almost every day after a day of work or after a week of work like the one just coming to an end. But for those who return to their families every day, you agree with me that having a good family or a strong family, like someone says, is an important thing in life. Because no matter how bad a day was, it's important to return to people who can smile back at you and tell you you're welcome. It feels sometimes very interesting when I return home from a bad day and my son runs to me and is like, "Daddy, you're welcome. Mommy has cooked something for us. I was waiting for us to share a meal." It brings a real smile to me. And that's why on today's edition of our program, we'll be talking to an outstanding, it's a top-notch marriage and relationship counselor we have in our city. She is breaking bounds. She's making things happen around the world. And of course, the BD show could not go any further without having her on this episode 08. We continue to wish our previous guest well. She was programmed for episode 08 and she could not come for reasons beyond her making and our making. But we're so proud that we programmed her for episode 09, but we're shifting her a little forward for episode 08 and we're glad to have her. We're very much glad to have her. She is Asanji Yvette, if I'm not making a mistake. She will help me with the correction if that is not her name. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Derek.
Is that the name?
Yes, I'm Mrs. Asanji Yvette.
Okay, Mrs. Asanji Yvette. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
As I said before, she is a marriage and relationship counselor. She's worked for a long time in the media. Of course, I knew her long before as a media professional.
Yeah.
And now she's moved forward. She's using her media know-how to change lots of families. You're welcome to joining us once again, ma'am.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Derek.
To say the least, the gown is everything
good.
good.
I'm flattered right now. Thank you.
To come to the BD show with this kind of a gown tells me that you really, really value our program. Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, it's a pleasure being here. This is a nice place.
And my very, strong regards to the loving husband, the guy they say that we look alike. I will show you his picture later on the show, but you like to see him,
Yeah.
Some people see me somewhere and they call me Asanji.
Oh, yes.
And some see Asanji and they call him Baka, So it's interesting to know that.
The same height, the same everything, looks, everything.
All right. So, ma'am, you're welcome. You should be from Donga Matum. I don't know which part, but you should be from Donga Matum. Right?
Yes, I'm from Binka. Precisely, yes, from Binka in Donga Mantung.
Okay.
But I grew up in Kambe. Yes, in Cambe town.
So if somebody gets to Cambe and wants to go to Binka, what's the road?
Just say you pay 500 francs, but now we know that with our early roads, it's not very motorable.
Yeah.
So you might end up paying more than 500 francs to get yourself to Binka.
Okay. Is there anything particular about the Binka people want to share with us?
Yeah, Binka is known, the first thing that comes to my mind is the pancake.
Yeah.
Yes. We have these Muslims in Binka that does very special pancake.
Okay.
Not with anything, but with rice.
Rice.
And if you eat it, you want to have more of it. It's very exceptional. That's one thing you can know Binka with. And another thing you can know Binka with is yellow yams.
Okay.
Yes, we have yams. And also Binka is a touristic site. There's a part in Binka where you have very big stones, It's just wonderful if you have to go there.
You sound like a real proud Binka woman.
Oh, proud. Binka is, we used to call Binka Small London.
Small London.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, to say the least, my brother has already snapped her and taken her to Santa. So.
Yeah, I've been relocated from Binka Cambe Donga Mantung. Now I am in Santa. Yes.
Okay. I see elements of the Bamenda-ness in your gown. How do you feel when they call you Bamenda woman?
Oh, we have a wonderful culture.
Yeah.
I must tell you, I'm proud of it. If you look at me, this is our culture.
Yeah.
Our culture is our identity. Yes, it identifies, it speaks of us. And one thing you will see is even the whites are wearing this.
Yeah.
To tell you that this is something that everybody loves.
I love it too. Well, maybe just very quickly, do you feel any problem with the call you Bamenda woman?
No. I know I know the recent crisis.
Yeah.
They say people are on ground zero. Yeah, we're on ground zero and we are there. After everything, ground zero is our home. We're not going to leave ground zero for Yaoundé, Douala. We'll stay here, and by the grace of God, God is going to help us.
Wow. So nice. Some particular thing you love about Bamenda, apart from the outfit, because by days, of course, tells me that you were so passionate about our outfit.
All right. I think I would still prefer Bamenda to any other town.
Okay.
If I were to choose a town to stay in, I would still prefer Bamenda because of the climate. Let me start with that. Yes, Bamenda has a moderate climate, not too cold, not too hot. Unlike Douala, that sometimes when I get to Douala, I can barely put on dresses. Yeah, I'm not used to. I know that those in Douala will be like, no, it's okay with us. But some of us who are Bamenda people, when we get to Douala, we feel uncomfortable for a while, maybe before we get to cope with.
That's right.
But Bamenda is having a good climate, a good weather. Yeah. Everybody, if you come to Bamenda, I think you can cope, even from Yaoundé, Douala, or wherever you are. You can cope.
What about her people?
Sorry?
The people in Bamenda, the Bamenda people.
The people in Bamenda, they are welcoming.
Yeah.
Yes, this is one thing with, I want to say, even with the Anglophones in general, we are welcoming and we are one and another skipper. You won't come to somebody's house and the person is drinking a cup of water and won't bother to give you. When you come and you're welcome, they'll give you, hey, this is what I'm having. Share with me. So you always have this welcomeness from the Bamenda people.
All right. Of course, that's very crucial to this conversation. The BD show is particular about the city of Bamenda, her progress, the distance covered so far, and the people that make Bamenda thick. And that's why we are glad to have this marriage and relationship counselor with us today to help us build our families. It's her profession. She's a professional in the area. And so today she'll be helping us identify problems that we have in our family. Just to start with, Madam Yvette, how did you begin the journey? This journey to being a marriage and relationship counselor. I informed you before that I knew you as a media professional.
Yes. Let me say, the time you knew me, I was in the media. Yeah. But then my counseling journey started long ago.
Okay.
I would like to first of all make you understand that counseling is not a job.
Okay.
It is not a job. It's beyond being a job. Even though people pay for their sessions, but it's something beyond, because we're dealing with people's emotions. We're dealing with confidential things. It's somehow related to nursing. It's a caring profession, but it's so unique.
Okay.
Yes. So I And one thing I would just like to add before I start, I talk about my journey in counseling is more of a calling. Not everybody can be gifted to, to counsel people.
Yeah.
It's more of a calling, because sometimes what you see is the Holy Spirit helps us. It helps us in carrying out our counseling. But going back to your question, my journey began, you'll be surprised, about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yes. 2011, 2012, I worked with Millennium TV in Cambe. And I had a show I actually brought up a show on the TV titled Emotional Break.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the presenter of that show. And what we do on the show is it was a live show.
Okay.
We get people send in their problems, and I have a guest that I've invited. Then the guest, together with the guest, we try to see how we can address people's issues.
Okay.
So it started as little as that. I just had passion to see how I can help relationships, in the little way I can. Even though by then I was not even trained. I was going about it so unprofessional, but I just had something in me burning to see that I help somebody, have a happy relationship or a happy marriage.
Yeah.
So I started with that program on Millennium TV. Those that were in Cambe by then could tell you. Yeah. And when I brought that program up, my manager was like, "Wow, this is wonderful. And do you think you're going to have people, sending in your problems?"
Yeah.
I said, "I don't know." So with that question, it got me prepared. What I did was I had to write some questions myself and kind of act it up like somebody, like people sent it to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Yeah. So I kind of acted up like people sent it to me, and I had to start reading. And luckily enough, I had some few questions coming in that day, and my manager was surprised. He himself, he wasn't expecting, for the first 1-2 shows on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might not even have anybody, participating, but it was kind of rare. From Millennium TV, 2013, 2014, I was in Kumbu working with City Community Radio.
Yeah.
And there I still had a program on marriage, on relationships, where I still try to see how I can help people. So wherever I was, something is unique with me. It's either relationship or marriage.
Yeah.
Yes. So from City Community Radio in Kumbu, that I worked for a year, I now had to go on social media, started my career there, even before I got married.
Yeah.
I just had pleasure in trying to see how I can, send out motivational quotes on relationships, on marriage. And that's how I started before I even got trained, went to school to be trained. And today I'm a US certified marriage counselor. Through the same passion, you also see that I've had programs with singles, had singles symposiums where we train singles.
Yeah.
We talk to them, we prepare them for marriage. Because one thing we realize is that people prepare for every other thing except marriage. So we kind of prepare singles through that. Then we also have couples program. I think you were part of the program the last time.
I think that was the very first edition.
Yeah, you are right. That was the premiere edition.
Yes.
And it was wonderful. We had over 30 couples.
Yes.
On red carpet, doing marriage talks, couples games, everything that will come and enrich marriage, spice up marriage, rekindle love, and bring back the romance. And so that is how it has gone. And today, before I forget, last year, 2020, I won an award as the best relationship marriage counselor in Cameroon.
That's a long journey.
Yeah.
Coming from a long, you've come a long way.
So I can say that's just a summary of how I have started and where I am today.
Okay. Definitely, to be successful in anything, you must be patient. Take off time, build yourself, get to a professional level, do it rightly, and you'll definitely succeed. Of course, that's our journey. We're going to be taking a quick break here now. When we return, it will be time for us to find out a couple of other things from her. Will you want to know what it takes for family to survive in times of crisis, especially marriages? Well, if you're interested, just stay with us. My take is also still to come. The BD Show is brought to you by Miro Entertainment, your lead destination in photography and videography production. We serve you instant passports, live events, documentaries, news, photo and video equipment, photo shoots, broadcast, corporate, commercial, sports, and reality television. We also do documentation, printing and photocopy, wedding and funeral booklets, t-shirts, badges, banners, roll-ups, and much more. Contact Miro Entertainment, Ghana Street, Quen, Bamenda on WhatsApp 677-784585 or 699-201238. Miro Entertainment, your lead destination in photography and videography. And you're welcome back. You're still following today's edition of the BD Show. We're having Asanji Yvette, Mrs Asanji Yvette. She is a relationship and marriage counselor, and we're honored to have her here with us. So, ma'am, after sharing with us your journey, sometimes we realize that people get into things like this may have had such experiences from their backgrounds. You know, you hear stories like my mom used to be treated badly by my dad and things like that. So what was your source of inspiration?
Oh, that's wonderful. You got it right. Actually, I come from a polygamous divorce home.
Oh.
Not just polygamous,
yes,
but also divorced. And my mom, my mom and my dad got divorced when I was 5 years. So growing up with a single parent, I actually saw what it meant. It wasn't easy. And so when I grew up, I think that inquisitiveness of why are marriages failing, why did my mom's own fail? And even though I tried to ask my mom and she thought I was too small to understand, she couldn't explain anything to me. Unfortunately, I'm now a grown-up. I wish she could talk to me, but she's no more. So may her soul rest in peace. But from there, I think that passion, grew to another level.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how has the journey been this far?
It has.
From the moment you felt like you were taking it like a full-time activity, how has it been?
Yeah, it's been challenging. I won't lie to you. Sometimes when you listen, you sit in the counseling room, you listen to clients' problems, and sometimes you begin to wonder if you were the one in their shoes, will you even bear it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's not easy, and that's why every counseling room we always have a tissue, because people come and cry. Yes, it's even part of therapy.
You allow them cry?
Yeah, it's part of therapy.
Okay.
Yes, if somebody is so emotional and they feel like crying, you give them time to cry. You just help them with tissue. When they have cried and they are ready to talk, it's funny, right?
Yeah, it is.
But then, this is where people come and express their pains.
Yes.
Yes, so sometimes somebody is just like, I just wanted somewhere that I can air out. Mom, please just listen. I'm not even sure I need a solution. I just need you to listen. Let me just air out, because I've been holding it. It's pressing me. It's killing me. I say, okay, I'm fine. I'm here. I'm all ears. Yeah. And then they begin to pour out. Sometimes they really cry. It really gets emotional. Yes. But then you understand that these are pains, emotional pains people are feeling.
When one sees you, could begin to have the conviction that everything is just nice, it's just fine.
Yeah, it might look so fine. Anyway, let's say it's fine, because at the end of every counseling session, by the grace of God, every client leaves the counseling room feeling better. Okay. I think that's where we can say there is joy. But at the beginning of it, it's not always easy. Sometimes when I have couples, if you've come to my office, you're going to see sometimes couples come in, the husband is sitting on the chair the other way, the wife is sitting on the couch the other way. Sometimes they even come differently, and I'm like, can you two greet each other before we start? No, nobody's greeting the other person. And
we're fortunate they accept to come always two all the time. Have you had instances where one come and the other
No, one comes. Sometimes we have to call the other spouse to come. Sometimes some resist coming, sometimes some come. Yes, but when they come, especially on the part where they have been maybe not been talking, or to the level where maybe the wife has left the home and is staying somewhere else, maybe for a week, 2 weeks, or months, you have to get them. I say, okay, for us to start, we're going to be talking. All of us are going to be talking. So if you don't greet her or she doesn't greet you, I'm not going to start anything. Then I wait for them to greet themselves. Sometimes the husband is like, hello, the wife is...
So what has been that sounds like an interesting experience. You want to share some more of those interesting experiences?
Yeah.
At least from the level of invitation and then the takeoff in the counseling exercise?
Yes. It's really, like I said, it's challenging, but it's fulfilling.
Yeah.
I feel so happy. I feel joy doing it. You know, I feel joy doing it. And sometimes when you hear couples problems, if you're not careful, you might be intimidated. Like, will I be able to handle this?
Yeah.
Will I really be able to handle this? I give you an example. A lady that is here in let's say in Cameroon, a lady that is here in Cameroon, and the husband is out there, and the husband signed papers with a lady, you know, just to facilitate his documents that way. And to the wife here, she knows that the husband did it just for documents purposes, but just to later on discover that they were married like that. It was real marriage.
And they have children.
They are
already
staying.
Coming.
Yeah, they're staying there. They're having kids. They are raising up their family. And the worst of it all, sometimes family of the man knows. You can see how the lady feels betrayed. Betrayed by not just the husband, betrayed by the husband's family. That means betrayed by her in-laws.
Yeah.
And sometimes she's the only one that is kept in the dark. Then before she's realizing it, she's seeing the wife there posting pictures of them on her status and things like that. So sometimes it's really challenging. It's really challenging. Yeah. But then with counseling, after listening to you, you know, one thing I always tell people is counseling is not advice. Because
you see why I cannot be a marriage counselor? Because this is the kind of marriage I would advise somebody to take a machete. You know.
You need patience.
I would advise somebody to look for a gun and...
Yeah, you need a lot of patience,
yeah,
even to listen. Because sometimes when somebody comes, you know, they have a long story. They have to tell you how it started. We met. Sometimes they're talking and they're smiling. At one moment they're talking, they're crying. You know, their mood keeps changing. So it's not easy, but it's a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's come back to our environment.
Okay.
How do our people, I mean, you cited an example which looks, yes, because it involves something abroad. I mean, so people keep having the impression that some of these things could be too foreign for us. Are families actually concerned about this around us here?
About counseling?
I mean, do they respond to counseling calls? Do they feel the need for counseling?
All right. Counseling is a field where we are still struggling to make people understand that they need the services of a counselor.
Yeah.
In fact, when we talk about marriage, let me talk about marriage in particular. Yeah. When we talk about marriage is a union between two people. If there should be a third party to that marriage, it should be a counselor, not friends, not family. I mean, in times of conflict. Now, the reason why we discourage bringing in family is because, you know, let's say you're my husband, I'm your wife, and we have a conflict. I'm bringing in my family. No matter how fair my family wants to be, they'll take side with me. If you're bringing in your family, or we are bringing in your family, no matter how fair they want to be, they'll take side with you. So at the end of the day, the solution to that problem is not well handled. Even if it's handled, it's kind of temporal, you know. Or let's say even if it's handled, one party is pleased, the other party is not very pleased. Then friends is even the worst case. You don't even bring in friends into your marital problems, because today they are loyal to you because maybe they're benefiting one or two things from you. Tomorrow, when they might become your enemies, they'll use whatever they know about you against you. Yeah. So we encourage that if you have a problem, as maybe marital problem, the only person you can involve is a counselor who is a neutral person. Secondly, your information will be kept confidential, because we work with the law. If we breach confidentiality, a client has right to take us to court. Okay. Yes. So a counselor is neutral. A counselor helps you look for, get lasting solutions, not taking sides with anybody.
That's interesting to know. This will be an interesting part. You know, you are the marriage counselor. You just told us about confidentiality, please. I don't know how you're going to manage this part. I said interesting following your last submission. I'm particularly interested in examples of problems people bring to you.
Yes. Oh, but now let me say something about confidentiality.
I'm interested in the kind of example, like 2 or 3. All right. Yes.
Anyway, when I talk about confidentiality, there
are also bedroom problems. Yeah. Just go ahead, yes.
Bedroom will always be there,
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I talk about confidentiality, there's an aspect of confidentiality where somebody's life lesson can be, taught to others, without revealing identity, location,
Thank you very much.
age, name, nothing.
Thank you.
Yes. So okay. So with that, I think let me cite the case of you want that of bed issues.
Choose, please. Choose.
All right.
It depends on you.
All right.
Decide.
Sometimes couples come in for counseling and they're like, "Madam, this woman doesn't respect me. This, that," and they're turning around the bush. And if you're not careful to really, listen to them, because what we do is, communication is listening, not just listening, attentive listening. And when I listen to you as a counselor, I'm picking what you're not saying. I don't only follow your words. I pick what you're saying. I pick what you're not saying. I take note of your body language. I take note of your facial expressions. And so when you're talking, I still see like there's something you're not saying. And so with what we call in counseling probing questions, I keep asking you some of those questions based on what you tell me. I probe you, and before you know it, you get to open up to this. But when we talk about bed issues in particular, the truth is, most often, I've had cases where women don't like, they are not the same. They're not having the same appetite for sex like the men does.
Okay.
I think I've had just 2 cases where the woman's appetite is a little bit higher than that of the man, and so she finds it difficult to tell the man, and because the man might look at her like she's been a prostitute. Yes. So now during counseling, when I'm saying it, when you hit the nail, they say, like, "Ma, tell him, let him hear that. Are you hearing?
Yeah.
That you're supposed to take your time and prepare me, because you just come and then before you know it, you're already off." so
I expected that, right? Okay.
yeah. So sometimes during counseling, it's normal. You can hear the man say, "Ma, tell her," and then sometimes it's like, "Okay, are you hearing?" So bed issues is one thing that holds marriage. Yeah. Yes, the bedroom, sex in particular. If you don't go about it the right way, it will always bring problems. Sometimes the problem is that the man is not taking time to prepare the lady. So some women don't. In fact, they don't even know what orgasm is.
Yeah.
They just hear about orgasm, and they've never experienced it. And it's like, why have you not experienced? No, ask my husband. Okay, you now need to start finding out their love languages. What is your love language? Do your spouse speak your love language? How do you prepare them? I always tell couples, if you need a good sex in the night, as a man, you need to start being, just be kind to your wife from throughout the whole day. Just that kindness. Even at work, you just call to check on her. How are you, baby? It keeps her emotionally prepared. Because a woman is an emotional being. It takes her time to really come, get ready for sex. But the man, just with the twinkle of an eye, you see her naked, you're okay, you're good to go. But the woman really takes time. You need to know her soft buttons to press. You need to take time to prepare her. And most often I will encourage even bathe. That's a whole lesson. I will not want to really go. Like it will take us all the time here.
Yeah. So interesting to hear that. Well, I will not allow her to start giving you lessons. All of you out there, some of you are already like, "Madam, just go on. Just tell us what to do. Just tell us." This is not the place. If you need her, please, you can always contact her. Please, what's your contact? Just share your coordinates very quickly before we take our next break.
All right. Please just do WhatsApp. WhatsApp me +237 654 55. Sorry, 654 55 8560.
Okay. That's very quickly. Thank you very much, ma'am. We're going to be taking another break. When we return, it will be my take. And after my take, it will be time for us to discuss marriages in crisis times. Okay? It's a very important conversation. Don't go away. The BD Show, brought to you by Miro Entertainment. You're welcome back. The Northwest region has thousands of young men who have dedicated their lives into the practice of football. On my take today, we reflect on the constant promises for football infrastructure in the Northwest. We are particularly preoccupied. I do this on the BD Show exceptionally today to let you know that no other region in this country has football infrastructure because it was ever promised. Other regions have their infrastructure given to them and constructed by government without a promise. Since the 70s, the Northwest has always had a promise about a football stadium. In the 70s, it was a 45,000 capacity football stadium that was promised. Verifiable, it can be checked. Later on, sometimes in the year 2000, some other people came up and made promises about the infrastructure. In fact, some people even came to Bamenda and launched the construction of an Olympic stadium. Every other important person in Bamenda attended that event. In fact, the small stadium that was available for use has finally been shut down. It is no longer available with abandoned infrastructure and many other things. We have had regional people elected into office, and when they take office, like in 2018, the current executive promised, we are going to make sure that there's a stadium in 6 months. The embarrassing thing about it is the use of these 6 months. On more than 3 different occasions, I have heard that stadium will be available in Bamenda in 6 months. The stadium is nowhere to be found in 6 months. Now, again, the Northwest is about to engage national elections with the Cameroon Football Federation, and the rumor of another promise of a stadium to be available in December is already coming up. Let me remind you, this region has produced at least 2 winners of the Cup of Cameroon, a champion winner. We have had a Champions League winner. We've had lots of young men from here who plied their trade both in Europe and America and other successful countries in football. They didn't have any of these infrastructures. To tell a different lie to football lovers in the region about infrastructure, please to tell them a lie. For votes to come, just mind the other things. Say the other things. Just leave infrastructure, because any other thing that will be said now is not new, and it will definitely be another lie, like the ones that have been told before. What's my take for today? The Northwest doesn't need the Federation to promise them a football stadium. Stadiums in Cameroon, to the best of my knowledge, only one stadium in Cameroon is owned by the Cameroon Football Federation, which is available in Odza. It is actually under construction. It is even been used and spoiled. For the rest of the infrastructure, it's owned by government, and we expect that a stadium to be constructed in this city should be government responsibility and not the responsibility of the Federation. And that's my take for today. We'll be right back just after this. You're welcome back to the BD show, and we're talking to Madam Yvette Asanji, a marriage counselor. I know many of you are enjoying the conversation already, and so we're going to be taking the last part, marriage in crisis times. Ma'am, we'll definitely make some comments about the current crisis in relation to marriage. I mean, thank you for accepting to come despite the insecurities. We thank you for that. I know that has an impact on marriages, but let's start from within the marriage itself.
Okay.
Within the marriage, I know, of course, you've cited some key examples, which are mostly emotional. We have biological crisis, which could be about child ownership, having children before coming to marriage, this here and there. These are problems that come up in marriage. Now, in a society that marriage counseling is not common, like you admitted, what has been your experience in how some of these problems are solved?
The problems, I can say, most often the parents try solving the marital problems.
Okay.
Yes, most often you see parents are interfering. But like I said, except in areas where counseling is not. But then now we are, with the technology, you can be in US. I do counseling to people in US, UK, China, Germany, Sweden. Yes, you can name them. So it is not a matter of your vicinity or where you're staying. You can get counseling even from anybody in the world through online counseling. But when you talk about, you mentioned having children maybe before coming into marriage and things like that, we call it blended families.
Okay.
Yes, and that's one area in marriage where couples face a lot of challenges. Maybe let's say I had children before getting married to you, or you had children before you came, getting married to me. And sometimes if those children are with us, the mother of the children, they'll be like calling the children to check, is that woman treating you well? And sometimes even putting kind of very wrong ideas in the children's minds concerning the wife at home. And sometimes you see the wife is trying everything possible for the children to be happy, but everything is turning the other way.
Yeah.
So blended families is just part of the problems in marriage. But if you look at conflicts in marriage, generally, I think one of the major conflicts you always see is that of communication.
Okay.
Yes, because communication is not just what you say, but how you say it, and equally where you say it. Sometimes, let's say for example, you went walking, you came back home, you're very tired. I just start telling you some kind of things. The time is not appropriate. I'm supposed to know when, even as a wife, you're supposed to understand seasons. There's some kind of key things that you don't just need to start talking about it to your spouse. You need to look for a good time. Yeah. Sometimes I even encourage, why not take your spouse out? Go out somewhere, sit where it's quiet, responsible. Maybe people share a bottle of something, have something to eat. Then you can bring it up. Because sometimes familiar environments and some kind of things can actually hinder good communication. So what you say, how you say it, where you say it, all matters in marriage. So that's what communication comes with problems. And sometimes, when they say man is the head of the family, some men look at it like being authoritative, being a dictator. Mm-hmm. Hey woman, stand here. Oh, you sit there. Bring me this. No, that's not how you communicate to a loving wife. She's a human being. She's a mature person. If you must really enjoy your marriage, you must learn to relate with her, knowing that she's a mature person like you. She's not a child. Neither is she a slave. So you can talk to her in a loving way. Honey, please, can I have a glass of water? I think that's cool. And woman, bring me water. And then in some marriages, like the woman has no say, her opinion, because that's one of the cases where we always have in marriage. Yeah. The woman has no opinion. He doesn't listen to me. He doesn't ask my opinion. Even if he's going to buy even a couch, even just to ask my kind of color or kind of couch I would like, he just goes and buy any couch, come and keep. And I'm like, my take doesn't matter. Just even listen to my opinion. So this is one thing, relating with your spouse, communicating with your spouse. If you must have a successful marriage, you must learn to sit down with your spouse, talk with them, plan with them. Yeah. Marriage is teamwork. Baby, I was thinking that we'll go buy a bottle of water. What do you think? So, okay, yeah, a bottle of water would have been good, but I thought maybe we needed this because of this or that. She gives her reasons, and then okay, yeah. I think you're right. You're right. Yeah. So, should we keep this for a later purchase, and then we get this for now? That's how couples need to sit down and talk. You talk, then you come out with a conclusion. Then it's not executed. But take note, in a case where both the husband and the wife cannot come to a mutual agreement, like the husband said, well, let's buy this, the wife said, no, this one is important, and then at the end of the day, the husband has the right. Please, I'm a Christian counselor and I will say it. The man is the head of the home. The Bible states it clearly. In a case where the husband and the wife can't come to an agreement, the husband has the right now to take a final decision. Okay. Whether it will favor the wife or not. Yes, at that level, he has right.
I hope that some women will not have a problem with you on that. No,
because we have different conflict resolution styles.
Yes.
One of them is the forcing style. The forcing style is, that's what most people do. The first things, I'm the head of this home, I decide what happens. Or I'm the one working the money, so I decide what we buy, how much we buy it, So that's the forcing style. Yeah. And when you're using that method to resolve conflicts in the home, you are pleased because things go your way, but the other person is not pleased. Then we also have the avoiding style, where couples, this is a problem. You and I know that, okay, we are married, this is a problem. But because it's bringing us a problem, we avoid talking about it. Avoiding talking about it doesn't mean it's not existing.
Okay.
Yes, it's there. Until the day you and I will really sit down and address it and handle it, that problem will still be existing. Yeah. So sometimes the avoidance can come from the both sides. Sometimes it can come from the woman's side.
Okay. Now, just very quickly, you said your position is, you're a Christian counselor. Or maybe most of your counseling is informed by Christian principles, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know, but I was just trying to understand you clearly.
All right.
So that we answer this question very quickly. Do you think that we can have a successful marriage when the two people have different religious backgrounds or they attend different churches, even if they are Christian churches?
Okay. Please let me first of all clarify the aspect of being a Christian. The fact that I'm a Christian counselor doesn't mean I force my Christian values on couples.
Okay.
Yes, I don't. So I can attend. I'm open to even Muslim. When you come, if you're not a Christian, I counsel you from a non-Christian perspective.
Okay.
If you come, you're a Christian, that can permit me not use the Bible sometimes, you know. But now, talking about getting married or staying in marriage from two different religious backgrounds, it depends on the couple's level of maturity. Yes.
But it's possible.
It's possible. It's possible. But like I said, it depends on their level of maturity because on how they relate. If they understand that you have your religion, you have your beliefs, which is different from mine. You know, I don't have to force my values on you or my beliefs on you. You don't force yours on me. If I have to do anything that concerns my beliefs, you know, you are okay with me doing it. That's maturity. But the problem is very few can reach this level of maturity when it comes to differences in religion.
I'm just imagining myself in my home. Maybe if I'm Muslim and then, you know, it's fasting time, they have to be cooking in my house as if nothing is happening, and things like that, you know. And then my wife, if I'm Muslim and my wife is Christian, and or maybe some other things like we are Catholic, my wife is full gospel, and we get up on Sunday morning and you're preparing to go for your own to come back.
And then the children.
And then the children. I see this as crisis. You know,
it's crisis because
I really see it difficult.
There's something we call in marriage. You know, we have different kinds of intimacy. We have spiritual intimacy equally.
Yes. And
spiritual intimacy is the intimacy where couples are able to relate on you know, their religious understanding. Okay. So when this is different, you know that in that marriage, there's no spiritual intimacy. Okay. And like you always hear, they say a couple, a family that prays together stays together. Sometimes, or let me say, okay, let's say you're a Muslim and she's a Christian. How will the two of you even join to pray together? Will you pray praying to Allah, you're praying to Jesus Christ? And so sometimes that is challenging. Equally, it also affects the children. Yeah. When the children are growing up, are they following you? Are they becoming Muslims? Or they're following me in my Christianity? So that also brings a lot of problems. Sometimes you see division starts in the family. This is my own kind of children. No, go, you are daddy's son, you are daddy's daughter, you know, and it's bringing division.
You know, this is an interesting part. The other day, I've spent some time reading the canon law, and there's a section of the canon law that actually discusses this issue of getting married to non-Catholics. The canon law is a Catholic document. It's a Catholic legislation. It's a legislation that governs actually lots of things in the Catholic Church. And when I was reading that legislation, I was reading that piece of legislation, I stumbled on a section that actually discusses issues of marriages, joint marriages. And it said somewhere that before a Catholic accepts to marry you, know that you have also accepted that all the children from that marriage will be Catholic. Okay.
I never even knew about that.
I am not too sure many of you know that.
Yes.
You know, so it's an important thing to know. Find some time, read that portion of the canon law. So it looks like there are some institutions that have tried to address this at their own level, but I see it as an issue that can actually be a source of crisis in a family. Oh, yes. I also think that maybe income sources. I don't know whether you have problems that we have. Yes. I mean, income coming from one side and things like that in the family.
Finances, who is working the money, who is spending, what are they spending on? Sometimes the man thinks because I'm the one working the money, the wife has no say over what we buy, over how we manage the money. But one thing men forget to understand is that what she stays home doing, if they were to pay her, you know, if they were to calculate it in terms of income, it would be huge. Yeah. So she is doing something that is bringing income indirectly. And so finances, whether it's a man that is working or is a woman that is working, at the end of the day, they should come together and work. You know, this is what we have as an income. Yeah. And that's why I encourage monthly budgeting. For every couple, have a monthly budget. Before the month is ending, you already have a plan of work. Income is this. Expenses, we are paying rents, we're paying bills, we're paying this. And at the end of the day, we are saving this. We have miscellaneous this, you know, it saves. But finances has brought a lot of problems. Sometimes the men spend money on their families. They keep sending money to their parents. and never sending to the wife's parents. I'm talking about cases that I've had.
Yeah.
Yes, very, very frequent cases. Man sends money to his family all the time, but never sends money to the wife's family. And so the wife is like, and then sending even without the wife's knowledge. But if you're married, you know, I think this should be done jointly. So what I do is, in the monthly budgeting, there is allowance for the family, for husband's family, there's allowance for wife's family.
Okay.
So it can be treated on the mutual, yes, on the mutual.
We're bringing this conversation to you at the eve of back to school, and I'm sure we cannot keep our children from this conversation. We'll be right back just after this break. The BD Show on your local radio soon. The BD Show is brought to you by Miro Entertainment, your lead destination in photography and videography production. We serve you instant passports, live events, documentaries, news, photo and video equipment, photo shoots, broadcast, corporate, commercial, sports, and reality television. We also do documentation, printing and photocopy, wedding and funeral booklets, t-shirts, badges, banners, roll-ups, and much more. Contact Miro Entertainment, Ghana Street, Quen, Bamenda on WhatsApp 677-784585 or 699-201238. Miro Entertainment, your lead destination in photography and videography. You're welcome back. You're following the BD Show. We are coming to you this Saturday evening from Bamenda, and we're happy to know that you're doing well. Thank you for the sacrifices you've made for the last minute already to be with us. That's a huge sacrifice. Watching us online is no joke. We want to appeal again that you subscribe. Remember to subscribe our channel. We're nursing the channel together, and when you subscribe, you are supporting us from a distance. Also, share and comment on our videos if you love the content, if you love particularly our counselor who's been helping us out, please do share, subscribe. Let many people, of course, get to learn from this. We're talking at the eve of back to school, and I know children, which is in at least more than 70% of our families have children. So they are the center of the conversation now, how they go back to school. But before this reflection, we're also worried about the aspect of child upbringing. I'm sure you must have handled this question in one of your sessions, either on radio, on TV. But who takes the responsibility for a poorly brought up child, father or mother?
That's a difficult one there, because like they always say, a good child is daddy's child, and then a bad child is mommy's child. But that is not true, even though mother spends more time with the children. But talking about this, like if you have to discipline a child, it's something that the mother and the father should work hand in glove on when it comes to discipline. Because sometimes you see, like you talk about children being one of the problems in marriage. Maybe the father beats the child for doing something that is wrong, then the mother calls the child and pampers the child. Instead of telling the child, daddy is beating you because what you did was wrong. You know, you say call, and then you are bringing hatred in that child. You're growing hatred towards the dad, thinking that maybe that doesn't like me, that's why he beats me. But in a case like that, you should call the child and tell the child what you did wasn't right. That's why daddy is beating you. Yes. So we should look at discipline like it's something that we should work hand in glove on. Sometimes there are things that if the children are too familiar with the mom, and the mom is trying to discipline them and it's not going, the father needs to step in. Yeah. Yes. So it's a two-way thing.
Okay. And it's time for back to school. I'm sure many men are now sweating.
Yes.
And the wives are waiting.
Well, for those who are sweating are those who are not planning.
Okay.
Back to school is something that you start planning even from the day that the last school term ended.
Okay.
Yes. Wise parents will start preparing their children even before this period. If you want to talk to some few parents that are wise, they'll tell you they've already bought school bags, they've already bought food packs, everything, water bottles, everything is already in place. They're just waiting for the child to go to school. But then for those who are not yet prepared for maybe reasons maybe relating to this crisis, I don't know what I can say, but I'll just tell them to do what they can do. Maybe the child goes to school, and then as time is going on, they can be getting the rest of the things.
Okay. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the conversation. We'll be ending here now. Well, let's end with some preferables for Madam. Your favorite food?
Eru and white Gary.
Eru and white Gary. That's not from bean curry.
Oh, Yes, fufu and kati.
No, don't change it. Why? I just reminded you that.
No,
you
okay.
fall in love with Ero.
No, I fell in love with Ero because I don't cook fufu on daily basis. But the truth is, oh, don't date fufu, vegetable and kati.
Okay.
Good to go.
You drink something?
Yeah, I go with just non-alcoholic.
Non-alcoholic. Okay. Your favorite music?
I like worship, gospel, anything Christian.
Okay. And what's your take on your kind of medication? When you're sick, do you try alternative medicine or you take modern medicine?
I am open to any.
Okay.
Yeah, the truth is that sometimes, okay, for example, my son had mumps of recent, and the truth is, the hospital doesn't have any medication for mumps. Okay. So in that case, you must be open to either home remedies or natural remedies. Yeah. So I'm open to any.
To any. There's no problem related to your Christian values?
No. As long as it is not, we are using herbs, natural leaves. It's okay with me.
What's your take about the marriage that doesn't produce the fruit of the womb, that has no child?
Well, in that case, I want to...
Can you stay in such a marriage?
Yes.
Okay. That has no fruit of the womb?
Yes. One thing I would like you to understand is the first purpose for marriage, when God was creating marriage, wasn't for childbearing. Okay. It was for companionship. So if you get married and children are not coming, enjoy the first reason for marriage, which is companionship. Because when God said Adam, it's not good that Adam should be alone, He didn't say it's not good that Adam should not have children. But He said it's not good that Adam should be alone. He needed a companion. That's why you see sometimes people are in their 50s, they're getting married, and you're asking, why are they getting married? They want to age together. Yeah. They want companionship. So if you get married and you're having issues with children, please don't drive your wife away. Yes, don't make it a problem. In fact, enjoy your marriage with the companionship, which is the first reason, while praying and hoping God, for children to come in. I see.
What about people who decide not to marry? You find a problem with that?
No, I don't think I should have a problem with that, because even in the Bible it's written. Yeah, some people will not want to get married. Paul himself in the Bible wasn't married. Yes, so it's okay. Some people might choose not to be not to get married. But if you have to keep concubines here and there, at the end of the day, I still believe that you are still married somehow. So it's better just get married.
So what if somebody brings such a problem to you, like, I'm not married, but all my concubines are a problem to me?
In that case, I think he knows his problem and he knows the answer to his problem. Okay. He should get a wife, steady, get a wife, settle down with that wife, because women, so men will tell you that women are first of all a problem. Then having 2, 3, 4 is having four problems. Yeah. So if you don't have those problems, why go and look for them? Okay. Get a wife, settle down, make a family. Yes.
All right. I think we've come to the end of the road for today. We're going to give Madame an opportunity to look at that camera and tell somebody something. She said so many things on social media already. I don't know whether there's any other thing you tell people when they come to your clinic. But when I follow your social media platform, you say too many things already. It looks like you give all your information out there. But
yeah, that is...
I can't say. But just look at that camera and talk to some people today.
Yeah.
For being on the BD show. In fact, why you think they need marriage counseling?
Okay. Please, what you see on social media is general advice. And sometimes it might not work for you because they are not two the same couples. Every couple is unique. So what works for you, we need to sit down, assess you as a person, assess your marriage as a unique marriage, and know what is working for you. What you see on social media is just general tips, and it's just tips of an iceberg. When you come in for counseling, you have more. And that which is personally related to you. Not the kind of general things we put on social media. And my WhatsApp, please, I think I got it wrong the last time.
Okay. I didn't notice myself.
My WhatsApp is 654558560. 654558560. 654558560. Okay. You can contact me on WhatsApp and I will get to you. I'll book an appointment with you and you can get to me. I'm at Commercial Avenue, opposite NFC Bank.
And that's how we end today's edition of the BD Show. I want to thank you very much for watching. I'm sure we've contributed to helping you know where you can find a solution to your family. The show was not intended to be the solution itself. The show was intended to help you know the problems that you can't be going through and know where you can find the solutions. I'm particularly grateful to all my team. My technicians have done a wonderful job. The challenges have been enormous for today's edition of our program, but luckily we are here finally, and we hope to be here same time next week. Please continue to like our pages, subscribe on social media, on our YouTube channel, and continue to share the word. For those of you who want to do some placements on our show, we are available. And well, as you can see for yourself, the viewing is growing by the day, and I'm sure we'll not be making a mistake partnering with us in any form. Thank you very much for watching, and from me and the entire BD team, have a splendid weekend. Goodbye.
What a great pleasure to meet once again. What a great pleasure to meet each other. What a great pleasure to meet old schoolmates. What a great pleasure to meet old classmates. After many years,
After many years.
whoa,
After many years.
yeah.
After many years.
My
Auntie,
brother.
after many years.
My sister.
After many years.
My
oh.
father.
After many years.
Oh,
After many years.
enjoy
Enjoy yourself,
My
so
brother.
enjoy
My
yourself,
sister.
enjoy yourself,
My
so
father.
enjoy
My
yourself,
sister.
enjoy yourself, so.